Hi, friends. Welcome to a special edition of Fish Tales with your host, Pat Roach. And normally I do my Fish Tale segments while out fishing on my bass boat. But this special edition of Fish Tales comes to you from beautiful Barbados, where I was invited here by my friend Adam Moryto to go out deep sea fishing right out on the beautiful ocean that you see out there. So, a little bit difficult to do a storytelling segment while you're out on the high seas, so to speak. So we're just going to do it right here from the beautiful pool, and you can see a beautiful view. But I'm going to tell you about my deep sea fishing experiences while here with Adam in beautiful Barbados. So luckily, I got to get out 3 days with Adam out deep sea fishing. And I've never done it before. It's something that I've always wanted to do, and it's like off the bucket list. That I got to do it not once, not twice, but 3 times, and got to catch multi-species of fish. So the first day that we went out, and yeah, one thing's for sure. If you're going out on the ocean and you're doing deep sea fishing and you've never done it before, you need to have folks that know what they're doing. And I was lucky because Adam, this is his passion. This is what he loves to do. And his first mate, Larry, they've been fishing together their whole lives, and they know exactly what they're doing. So if you're ever going to attempt this and you've never done it before, I highly recommend like getting a chart or getting someone who knows exactly what they're doing, because there's a lot to know. And well, let's just say that the fish that you catch in the ocean, they're big, and you have to know how to handle them and what to do. So the first day that Adam took us out, we set up our lines, and he has this wonderful fishing rod that is electric, and it's a downrigger as well to get to the certain depths. But what we did was we trolled behind his boat, and of course Larry, first mate Larry, he knew exactly what type of bait to use. We used these little tunas and little squid on a line with multiple hooks, and we caught 2 fish that day. And one of the fish was a wahoo, it's called. And I mean, it's, you always see fishermen going big. I'm used to catching the ones this big, and a bass that big is still very exciting and puts up a big fight. But the wahoo we caught was that big, I'd say. And we didn't weigh it, but we kept it. And the thing that we did with all of these fish is we kept it, and then filleted them and cooked them for supper later that night. Fresh fish. So the first fish that we caught was a wahoo, and then the second one we caught was a barracuda, and it was both through trolling off of the back of the boat, and very exciting. Now, it's trolling when you're going behind the boat. You hear the rod when you land a fish. You hear the line going vzz, and it just sucks it right out. So you know immediately that you have a fish on. And I must say that the electric the winch or electric reel mechanism makes it very easy, because it has a depth gauge on it, and then all you do is press a button and it starts to reel the fish, so you don't have to worry about your muscles. So that worked quite well. And getting into it here, where we went out for our second day of deep sea fishing, we were trolling. We had 2 lines out, and then what happened is we hooked into a Mahi Mahi, which is also called a dolphin fish, and it was not on the main electric rod and reel setup. So that's where you take your rod, and there's even I don't know the names of things, I'm not an expert here, but there's like a little thing that goes around your waist, and it has a little spot for the rod to go in, so you can put the rod into this this little setup and hold it, so then you can start to reel that fish in. And it was, I think Adam said it was around 35, 40 pounds. So once that line was set, what you do is you pull back on the rod. You always keep your tip up to keep the line tight. But then when you go down, still keeping it down, that's when you do your reeling. You pull it up, and then as you're going down, the line gets a little bit slacker to allow you to reel it in. Now, the drag was not set up properly, and apparently Adam said it was a lot harder for me to get it in, and I have to say, I was totally worn out when I was bringing in that fish. Adam was there helping adjust the thing around my waist that holds the rod. I have a little tiny bum, and it was sliding down, so Adam would slide it back up and refasten it, and I'd be reeling, but my arms, both arms, like holding the rod up, that fish could fight. And I'm telling you, I was just getting winded, and my arms are shaking, and Adam would come and grab and help me lift that. Thank goodness, because he was assisting me with all of this, and if without his help, I don't think I would have gotten that fish in. But you're just constantly going, and I could see the fish once we got it in closer, and it was, like maybe the length of, say, a tennis court away, but it took forever in my mind to try to get that fish all the way to the boat. I was very worried that it was gonna come off the hook, but it did not. It did not come off the hook, but I couldn't believe it. And afterwards, I was just shaking, like from balancing yourself on the rocky seas. So you bend your legs like shock absorbers. So my thighs were kind of worn out a little bit from trying to keep my balance, and then both arms from pulling this wonderful fish in. And afterwards, when we were holding it up for some pictures, I basically was like, I need someone to take this fish, because I just can't hold it anymore. It was that taxing, so a good workout, you don't need a gym. But if it would have been on the electric reel, you just press the button, and that electric reel just pulls it in. You watch the gauge, and then once you get like 50 feet out, that's when you can take it off and you start to reel it in yourself. And that whole electric rod and reel system, that's basically attached to the boat, so you don't have to worry about losing the rod and into the sea or anything, compared to when you're holding it yourself. So I have a new respect for all these deep sea fishermen who are catching things like marlin and the big tunas and whatnot, because it is a total workout, and anyone who's catching multiple fish in a day, they're definitely in good shape, because you have to work hard to get that fish in the boat. So but we caught it, and it was beautiful, and the changed colors once we got it in. So we kept that fish. Adam Moryto, he knows how to fillet them, and keeping them on ice is a really big thing. Having to bleed the fish out is a big thing, to make sure that the meat tastes as good as it can taste. And Larry, his first mate, knew all these things, and what a team they were to organize everything and keep the fish on ice. Now, Larry even took the head of that Mahi Mahi home, because he makes like a fish stew. And he said it's the best stew ever, using the head of that fish. So we kept the fillets ourselves, and cooked them up, and Larry even used the heads, and then the rest of it went back into the sea, because we filleted it all and dressed it all out in the sea, and then you throw it in, and then that just feeds other fish and sharks and stuff, so that nothing would have gone to waste. So that was really cool. And we also caught another wahoo on that day, or I like to say wahoo. So very, very, very cool fish. Now on the third day, we went out, and both those first 2 days were probably around 4 to 6 hours, I think. But on the third day, we were up early, and we were out on the sea for a good 8 hours. And we went out to some of Adam's spots that he's marked, and went out to a depth of 1,000 feet and drop the lines down, straight down on that rod. So you're not trolling anymore, but you drop the line straight down with again the bait of a squid and the tuna on there, and went down to between 1,000 and say 850 feet. And that's where we caught a queen snapper, a beautiful, like reddish, I'm colorblind, but reddish orangey kind of fish, and just beautiful. And those fish, they're down so deep that when you bring them in, they can't survive in the waters that are not as deep as 850 to 1,000 feet. So we were getting that queen snapper in, but the hook that was in it on the electric rod and reel system, the hook pulled out of its mouth because its mouth is a little softer, and the fish came off very close to the boat. So we were just so happy to be catching the fish, and then all of a sudden you're so sad because you're like, no, we lost it. And but the thing is, that fish couldn't swim in these waters up close to the surface. So Larry was looking around, and you could see this red orange fish floating. So we just took the boat and drove the boat over, and Adam took a gaff and got the fish right in the mouth and pulled it out of the water. But that was a very scary ordeal because it was wavy, very wavy for myself and for Kelly. We're used to just being on lakes where it's smooth, or you can get around a cove and get out of the wind, and it's definitely not as rough. But out there, the swells were probably 10 feet, maybe 12 feet. So you would be in the bottom of a swell, or at the top of a swell, you could see land. You could see Barbados from the boat. But then once you went down in the swell, you couldn't see anything around you but the blue ocean, and the boat is just going side to side, up and down, back and forth. And oh boy, very happy to say that I did not get seasick. I was worried about that because I've never been deep sea fishing out on the ocean like that for that amount of time. I mean, just gone on little boat cruises and things like that around different harbors and places, but those seas are not wavy and rough like this. So we picked up some gravol, and it was like non-drowsy gravol, and I believe the ingredient is ginger. So I had taken that, and very happy that I didn't get seasick. But day one, our cameraman Taylor, he got seasick. He did he puked once, and then after that he was fine. The second day when we were out fishing, we fished into the evening, and Kelly, she, with being out in the dark and the lights on the white boat, and you're teeter-tottering all around, she got a little woozy, but hey, she didn't get sick, so she's a tough lady. But that not being able to see in the dark kind of threw her off. So the ocean is not something that you mess around with. You have to know what you're doing, or be with people who know what they're doing, because you have to be safe, and you don't want to be hurt doing a wonderful sport of fishing, right? So anyways, it's unbelievable that I had the opportunity to get out here in beautiful Barbados with Adam Moryto as my guide, and it's just something off the bucket list. And I'm definitely going to deep sea fish again. I will, because I would like to catch more species. But it's one of those things. Yeah, I think I can go fishing out on a lake, in my little bass boat. I could go every day, and I guess it's just kind of easy going. I don't know if I could go deep sea fishing every day, because you got to really have your sea legs about you and be smart. And well, there's a whole lot to learn. Like here, I was just watching the end of the fishing rod, and as you're bouncing up and down with the waves, the rod tip just goes up and down. Now, I had a hard time knowing when a fish was on. But Adam could tell if it did just a little jiggle. Whereas when you're out fishing, bass fishing, you have your rod. I just use a regular spinning rod. You can feel it. You're holding the rod and you can feel the bites on the rod, and then you have to set your hook, which I still have to get better at. I'm not the best hook setter, but I can. You've seen some of my nice little fish, but once you get it, then you feel the fish on the rod, you're holding it, and you're pulling it in. But on those systems that are connected to the boat, and then Adam just knew exactly when he'd have something on, and he knew how it all worked so good, pressing the buttons and whatnot. So again, having an expert with you is the way to go. But I will try it again, but I can't wait now. Here it is. We are in February of 2025, and back home my bass boat is all winterized, so I'm not out bass fishing. The season doesn't open up until April 1st, but here I got to go out and fish, made some new friends, and I got to fish some new species, and all of the chefs that cook these fish just made amazing fish. So that's something I've never done is really, normally I'm a catch and release person, angler, but now I might have to try to keep a few and fillet them and then cook it, because it's just absolutely delicious. We tried some, I think it's called ceviche, which I just called it like fish coleslaw, and that was made with the Wahoo and the Barracuda and some citrus and stuff. It's a raw fish, but you let it sit in I think lime juice, lemon juice, and whatnot, and oh, it is just the best tasting, fresh on a hot day, you know. So, but all the fish we had teriyaki Wahoo, curry Wahoo, and then we went to a little beach club restaurant where it was cooked on a charcoal grill, just with some salt and pepper, and then some like mango kind of salsa on top. Delicious. And the last day we went to a French restaurant where we had the queen snapper and more of the Wahoo, because I mean, we just had so much, and I can't believe that we caught the fish and we got to enjoy it with some good friends. We got treated like a king and a queen here by Adam's mom and Russ. And cameraman Taylor was just a gem to be around, a very funny guy. And Adam has invited me to even go fishing again, so I might have to get out and fish with him. But this time it would be up in Ontario, up in the Muskoka area, and he knows how to fish all of those waters as well. So you know, it's just wonderful. Again, getting out and fishing, making new friends, being out in the outdoors, enjoying a nice warm tropical day in Barbados when I think it's minus 20 back in Canada, minus 20 degrees Celsius. So had a wonderful trip. I just feel so lucky, and well, the next time that I do one of these fish tales, I think it may be from my bass boat again, but at least you get to see me enjoying by the pool and in beautiful Barbados. And I thank you for watching, and I'm just going to say, bye, friends!